What's your name? It's supposed to be an easy question, one of the first things we ever learn how to answer. But for me, that question was a trap. Celine, I'd say. And the room would shift. The S sound would slip, soft and crooked, falling out of my mouth like a secret I didn't want to share. And then it would begin. The tilt of the head, the squint, the, sorry, what was that? Say it again. So I'd repeat it, maybe twice, sometimes 5, until I felt like a broken record with bad customer service, until my name stopped sounding like my name at all. But now here's a little fun fact. Lisps are one of the most common speech disorders worldwide, so yet, why did it feel like such a crime to have one? Everyone else gets to say words like success and sounds impressive. I say it and it comes out like a snake with stage fright. My lisp grew. Sometimes it felt like people were carrying around a flashlight, pointing it at the one thing I wanted to hide. My lisp grew louder, louder than my laugh, and definitely louder than I had wanted it to. And for a while, it seemed to have eclipsed the rest of me. But then middle school came along, and boy, did that confusion turn cruel. I'd answer a question in class, or give my opinion in a group, and before my words could even land, someone would echo them back to me, stretching out the S, dragging it like nails across my skin. But that's the thing about having a lisp. It's not the sound itself that hurts, it's the dismissal. The way people look at you like your voice is a costume, like your thoughts aren't sharp enough to cut through the flaw. And that's how you silence a voice. You don't shut it down altogether. You teach it to become ashamed of its sound. So I learned silence. I became strategic. I rewrote my sentences in my head before I ever spoke them out loud, dodging every word with too many S's. I kept my hand down in class. I let my ideas die in my throat. Not because I didn't care, but because I was tired of fighting for the dignity of being heard. Then there was English class. I can still feel it. The fluorescent lights, the smell of old books, the sound of pages turning. My teacher asked me to read out loud. So I began. My voice was steady at first, a little shaky, but controlled for the most part. And then it came, a word with too many S's. I slipped. I heard it. A laugh. Quiet, yet sharp. My chest tightened, my face burned. The words blurred onto the page. Suddenly, I wasn't 13 in an English classroom anymore. I was 9 again, crying to my parents, asking them what was so wrong with the way I spoke. People always say, embrace your flaws. Sure, easy for them to say without spitting on the person in front of them. I finished the paragraph, but by then, I wasn't reading a story. I had become one. The girl with a lisp, the girl you don't take seriously, the girl you can dismiss with a laugh. That day, I had almost decided to stop speaking altogether. For a split moment, I thought about how even the softest winds can move entire fields of grass. No one tells that wind it's too quiet to matter. It just moves, gently, steadily, and the world shifts with it. For as long as I can remember, I had always thought of my lisp as my weakness, as the one thing that was going to hold me back in life. But now I see it differently. My lisp is my wind. It's proof that even a small voice can create big movement. And maybe the world needs more voices like mine, and like yours. And that brings me to my final point. A point that goes far beyond speech, beyond the letter S, and beyond the stage. We are human beings, and we are, by definition, not flawless. We carry the traces of every hesitation, every struggle, every challenge right here on the surface. And for years, I allowed one small phonetic difficulty, the sound of the letter S, to become the primary source of my self-worth. It became a measure of my competence, my confidence, and even my intelligence. I still hate the letter S. I hate the way it forces my tongue to move, the way it makes me feel exposed. I will always have to work harder for that sound than many of you do. But the shift happened when I realized the sound itself was never the enemy. The enemy was the self-hatred I had tethered to that sound. Today, I don't hate my sounds anymore. More importantly, I don't hate myself because of them. The great work of life was never about perfection, but about integration, about taking that part of you that feels inadequate, that feels broken, and refusing to let it define your whole value. We must rise above the perceived flaw and reclaim our value as complete human beings. The goal was never to erase the scar, but to realize the scar had nothing to do with the brilliance of the mind behind it. So as I step off the stage, there's a great chance you might forget all that I said today, but definitely not the way I said it. Thank you.